Hello students, today we are going to see price elasticity of demand. What is the definition of price elasticity of demand? Price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in price. That is, price elasticity of demand will show to us the extent of the change in demand when there is a change in price. We all know that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. When price falls, quantity demanded will increase, and when price rises, quantity demanded will decrease. But by how much will quantity demanded increase or decrease? We have to calculate the price elasticity of demand. The formula to calculate the price elasticity of demand is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. Here we have some simple calculations. So first we have a 10% fall in price of chocolate leads to a 20% rise in the quantity demanded. So PED will be 20% divided by negative 10%, which is equal to minus 2. The percentage will cross out. 20 divided by minus 10 gives us minus 2. Now, why we take minus 10%? It is because the price of chocolate has fallen. So a fall in price will be registered as a negative 10%. So PED will be equal to minus 2. In the second example, price of bread rises from 5 rupees to 6 rupees. We have to calculate the percentage change in price. So it will be 6 minus 5 gives 1. 1 divided by the original price, which is 5. So 1 divided by 5 multiplied by 100 gives us 20%. Then we calculate the change in quantity demanded. So quantity decreases from 100 to 90. So 90 minus 100 gives us negative 10. Negative 10 divided by the original quantity, which is 100. So negative 10 divided by 100 multiplied by 100 gives us negative 10%. And we calculate PED, which is going to be negative 10% divided by 20. And this will be equal to minus half. So here we know that price elasticity of demand will always be negative. This is because of the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Then we pass on to the types of price elasticity of demand. First, we have fairly elastic. What do we mean by a fairly elastic demand? Demand is said to be fairly elastic, fairly price elastic, when a change in price results in a more than proportionate change in quantity demanded. This means that a small change in price, a small percentage change in price will result in a bigger percentage change in quantity demanded. When demand is fairly price elastic, the value of elasticity will always be greater than 1 because we are taking a bigger percentage, a bigger value divided by a smaller value. So the value should be always greater than 1. Now, when we are drawing the diagram to illustrate elastic demand, we have to be very careful to show that the change in price is smaller than the change in quantity demanded. So in the diagram, the distance showing the change in price is P1. It has to be smaller than the distance showing the change in quantity demanded, which is Q1Q. And joining these 2 points, when we have 2 points on our diagram, it is very easy to draw the diagram. Next, we pass on to fairly inelastic demand. So this will be the contrary. In this case, when it is fairly inelastic, the percentage change in price will be greater than the percentage change in quantity demanded. So the definition will be when a change in price results in a less than proportionate change in quantity demanded. And obviously, the value of PD in this case will be less than 1. And the diagram, when we are drawing it, we have to be careful to show that the distance for showing change in price is greater than the distance showing change in quantity. And our demand curve will be much more steeper than in the case of an elastic demand. So for an inelastic demand, our demand curve will be steeper. Now we pass on to unitary elastic demand. Demand is said to be unitary elastic when the change in price, the percentage change in price, is the same for both demand and price. So the change in price result in the same percentage change in quantity demanded. For example, if you have a 10% change in price, we will have the same percentage change in quantity demanded. And obviously, if we take 10% change in price divided by 10% change in quantity, we will have 1. So our unitary elastic demand will always have a value of 1. To illustrate our unitary elastic demand, we have to draw a rectangular hyperbola. So instead of drawing a line here, we are going to draw a curve, and this curve is called a rectangular hyperbola. And again here we have to be careful to show that the change in price, the distance showing change in price, is the same as the distance showing change in quantity demanded. The next type of price elasticity of demand is perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly elastic demand is when the price remains the same, whatever the quantity demanded. In this case, it means that the price will not change. So if the price will not change, our PED, so the price will not change, so the percentage change in price is going to be 0. So we take any number, we divide by 0, it will give us infinity. So the value of our PED will be equal to infinity. And how do we illustrate it? The diagram for perfectly elastic demand will be a straight horizontal line, because the price is not going to change, only the quantity will change. And lastly we pass on to perfectly inelastic demand. Demand is said to be perfectly inelastic when the quantity demanded will remain the same, whatever the price. So in this case, the demand curve will be a straight vertical line, and the value of our PED will be equal to 0. Why? Because the percentage change in demand will be 0, and the percentage change in price can be any value. So 0 divided by any number will give us 0. So this is about price elasticity of demand. My next video will be on the factors affecting price elasticity of demand. So till then, it's goodbye.